Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines here. Uphold comes out with a vault, baby. We got a LBRY case motion, and Jeremy Hogan says we better watch out. And guess what else? Swift's conference SIBOS. Guess who the talk of the town is? It's Ripple and XRP. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $1.17 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up by 0.9%. Good morning, everybody. Bitcoin, 26,700 plus. Ethereum, 1829 and change. And Tether market cap is 83.1 billion plus. Whoa, that's a lot of chicken. XRP, 47 cents. It's up 1.6 on the 24-hour. Careful what we call progress, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to find progress, you'll find it inside the Digital Perspective Mastermind group. Look, while there is a lot of uncertainty in this space, the markets are collapsing. I know that you cannot keep up with everything. We know that. This is the learning curve you've been looking for. Get the tools you need, whether you're looking for an investor checklist, portfolio creation, great groups, courses, and lessons that can fill in the gaps you need to fill in, and a community that involves critical thinking. This is the greatest community I've ever been involved in, and I don't mind telling you, I feel honored to be a part of this group, and I started it. And let me tell you something. This is the time when real wealth is made. Take advantage of this special 3-day free trial offer and invest in yourself. You will be glad that you did. Hundreds of others have done it, and they're glad they did too. Get yourself in this group. We will close the door. Now take a look at this. Here's somebody opening a door. Dr. Martin Heisboik says something big is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Uphold Institutional. Oh, really? Well, let's take a look at it. This here from James Rule XRP says this, and I think I've gotten a similar email overnight here. We're delighted to announce that all XRP holders will enjoy early access to Uphold Vault, our new fully integrated self-custody wallet. Hello! Covering multiple blockchains, the new service creates a convenient way for you to store funds in a non-custodial wallet that seamlessly links to the Uphold platform. Hello, hello, hello. I am loving this right here. Combining the convenience of centralized trading with the security of self-custody, the Uphold Vault promises to be a genuine innovation. It means that even the Uphold app is down. You can move your funds instantly and retain full control over your digital assets. Come on in, baby. Goodbye, Ledger. Introducing novel key recovery features, the Uphold Vault promises to make self-custody a practical option for millions of non-technical users like myself. If you lose one of your keys, you won't lose your funds. We plan to open the Uphold Vault to XRP holders before anyone else. Mark your calendars for early September. I've marked my calendar right there. How about that? I am excited. Going to put a link for Uphold underneath the video. Make sure you get it. John Deaton. First of all, let me start with Michael Saylor, who says Bitcoin is going to be the last crypto asset standing in the U.S., and it's going to be the winner, says Michael Saylor, who was the biggest loser in the dot-com bubble and lost $13 billion in that bubble, and is now doubling down in this bubble and saying the same thing about Bitcoin now. John Deaton says this is just plain dumb if he means Bitcoin will be the only crypto asset traded in the United States. I just don't get it. You know what? I don't either, John. Because at the end of the day, we know that there are agencies, government agencies like the SEC and CFTC, that are denying that they know who the Satoshis are, who Satoshi Nakamoto is. And Department of Homeland Security, and we have covered it here multiple times, has said they interviewed the 4 people that in fact are Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, why is that a big deal? Because the reality is we don't know. And why don't we know? And why do they keep acting like they don't know? Something is very wrong with that, and I would be very weary about not having that information disclosed, especially understanding that there are hedge funds and institutions and public companies that are bringing Bitcoin into their portfolio. And if that wallet gets unlocked and there's a huge dump on that coin, let me tell you something. There is class actions coming out of the woodwork to sue your ass, because as a public company, you had a responsibility to be able to inform those shareholders that Bitcoin has these founders. Let me tell you, there is more to this story, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want anybody to get burned, but look, just like we have looked at the SEC versus Ripple case in many ways that made our stomach turn, we have to look at Bitcoin. I cannot turn a blind eye to this reality that no one wants to acknowledge, and you have to ask yourself, why? Here in the LBRY case, shout out to Jim for this, and shout out to Jeremy Kaufman and the LBRY crew. LBRY has filed its supplemental brief in support of its motion to limit the commission's remedies. Oh, do we like that? Well, Jeremy Hogan and John Deaton chime in here, and you're going to want it. Jeremy Hogan says this on that motion that's been filed to limit the SEC's horrible jurisdictional grab. LBRY is asking the court to clarify that secondary sales of LBRY are not affected by the judgment. Watch out for this ruling, as this is a possible scenario in the Ripple case, with the SEC asking for a broad, vague injunction and Ripple seeking clarity from the judge. This is what LBRY is asking right here. Though the commission is content to perpetrate uncertainty, LBRY submits that it is critical that the final judgment clearly state that LBC is the token on the platform, is not a security in and of itself, and Odyssey, the platform, and LBC users are not subject to any permanent injunction that the court may order. And we're not done there, because if you remember when all of this was happening, John Deaton was participating because of the Naomi Brockwell filing in that case. He says, I have the transcript from January 30th hearing wherein I appeared at the Naomi Brockwell, The judge promised he would make clear his order did not apply to secondary market sales. I objected to the overbroad injunction language, and he said he would not issue an injunction like that. And this is the reminder. And then Jeremy says here, thank God you were in that hearing to force the issue. Maybe we could disguise you as Attorney Solomon and sneak you into the Ripple hearing as well. I tell you, we have to watch out for this stuff, right? It is going to be very key, even though that is a different circuit court that case is happening in. Nonetheless, it can inform other courts like the Second Circuit as well. So we'll pay very close attention to that. Paying very close attention, how about the SIBOS conference that ends up coming out being this huge advertisement for Ripple and blockchain technology broadly? We start with this clip about Amazon Web Services using blockchain platform to scale to 1 million transactions per second. Take a listen.
About this, because it's not easy, it's constantly changing.
Exactly, and I think as for Swift, the focus is interoperability with all these new schemes that are coming up. For us, the focus is on implementing technology that can support those innovations. So like you were mentioning, global, scalable, resilience, those are the things that we're focusing on. Just to give you an example, we have participated in a pilot on a blockchain-based implementation, and we helped the team, the working group, which is actually an industry working group with Swift and banks around the table, to scale to 1 million transactions per second in our
1 million transactions per second, you say, with your working group in the blockchain. Well, that is going to be interesting to learn more about that. Now, nothing in this clip says Ripple or XRP, but you're about to hear it. Oh, and you're about to hear it in a very big way. So don't get discouraged there. But here we don't get an exact reveal whether Ripple's a part of that, but we do know that AWS does have a relationship with Ripple, but we can't say specifically if it's involved in this pilot to scale transactions to 1 million transactions per second. But that is exciting, and I can't imagine that they wouldn't be involved, especially when you're about to hear this lady talk about Citibank and SWIFT and how Ripple can actually make things better through the public-private relationships. Take a listen.
Our long careers, but it does feel like we're in the midst of a once-in-a-lifetime shift.
Sure does.
The architecture of finance, and by that I mean global currencies all the way down to payments, lending and deposits. It's unbundling bit by bit, and it's rebundling around a new, largely digital architecture. And this happened in trading over the last few decades, and it was an evolution. But what we're seeing now is more of a revolution, with new architectures supplanting old ones. And the way our industry has operated for decades, it's going to be replaced with new ways. And the scale and the speed required to serve our clients, it's of a completely different magnitude. So here at Citi, where we move over $4 trillion globally each day,
Here at Citi, where we move over $4 trillion globally each day, before she says another word, let me give you this. Citibank extends partnership with Ripple-powered Valente's VolPay. I just want to, let that run around in your crawl while you're listening to the rest of this.
where we enable clients to issue payments in 144 different currencies, where we do business in more than 160 different countries and are on the ground in nearly 100 of them. Well, we have a deep appreciation for scale and agility. And we're seeing how the world is becoming more global and more local at the same time, and how it's becoming faster and how it's becoming more complex. We're reshaping our firm and our exceptional assets so that we maintain our relevancy and we continue to deliver for clients. SWIFT, as the community that underpins global flows, must make the same journey. Not just talk about it, but actually accelerate action. Because if traditional payments remain slow and comparatively clunky, as they are today, then it's a huge incentive for others to develop alternative, large-scale global payment systems that could be cheaper and much faster. Already, the convergence between new technology and shadow banking risks derailing years of our progress. There's always been unregulated financial activity, but the new technology has the potential to scale that globally to the detriment of the regulated sector and the clients and the consumers we serve. We simply can't afford the regulated sector to be perceived as technologically deficient to the unregulated sector, and that's why we must relentlessly modernize our regulated financial system through public-private partnerships and through communities that bring our industry together, such as SWIFT.
And there you have that, but we got so much more. Again, remember, Citi, as she was talking about, doing $4 trillion a day, partnership with Ripple-powered Valente's VolPay. Public-private relationships, you say. Well, listen to this gentleman talk about the same idea. And again, this is happening at the competition's conference. Take a listen.
Our business model is that we got to simplify things. We have to take as many players out of the chain as possible. And I think that it causes you to step back and rethink. I think 20 years ago, if you want to move money cross border, you automatically think about a nostro and vostro arrangement, getting a correspondent and sort of going down that route. Now, as Charlotte mentioned, Visa has products. Ripple has options. There are myriad options out there to think about how you move money around the world on behalf of your clients. And so that's.
And there you have that. So there's Ripple right there. And listen, imagine being at Ripple's Swell Conference and everyone talking about Bitcoin being the solution or Swift itself and not Ripple, right? There's a lot of power in these statements. Take a listen. You're going to love this too.
Again, how has the past few years really impacted the idea of ecosystems, your collaborations, your partnerships, and even acquisitions? And then has that actually changed via region?
Yeah, as I said, we basically accelerated our whole journey into the payment space. While we were experimenting in the beginning with, as I said, with Alipay Hong Kong or with GCash in Philippines, we very early on had in 2015 we started a partnership with Ripple, where we experimented, or actually give, more than an experiment, we give possibilities for our corporates to do cross-border payments. But
imagine that, when you put on a conference and the most valuable player is the competition. And here is someone from the Federal Reserve talking about what they're working on right now and how explosive the technology and advancements of FedNow is about to be to support 10,000 U.S. banks. Remember, organizing the domestic liquidity is very key. You must get that dialed in before you can start talking about making these large value cross-border international payments on a huge scale. You got to have access to that domestic liquidity. And that's what FedNow is. And don't forget, Ripple is a FedNow partner. Take a listen.
Journey. It's not just the bank. They have to take the customers with them all the way through the chain.
That's right. Absolutely. So we wanted to put that research out there about the benefits and opportunities of instant payments. And also we are doing a lot of education about FedNow and the use cases that we envision developing first. Frankly, we're probably going to be surprised. There's going to be a lot of innovation that's going to happen on top of FedNow that we're not even thinking about it. I mean, we designed the service with that in mind. It's a cloud-based service, high resilience. I think we're actually the first central bank that has developed a payment system fully in the cloud. So that's really exciting there. And so we certainly leaned in to support that kind of innovation in the marketplace for the future.
Well, before they go on, everybody thinks the Fed and the U.S. government is behind, but he believes they're the first central bank to develop a payment system fully in the cloud that can support 10,000 plus banks. You better watch out. I've told you from the beginning that the United States government is the biggest economy in the world. They're going to be last because of that fact. Not because they're behind, but because they are the last shoe to drop.
Begs the question then, what is it going to mean for the US payments landscape? Because you're absolutely correct, it is quite innovative for a central bank to involve itself in this way, but is that involvement likely to encourage even greater innovation on the landscape scene generally for payments?
That's what we see. We think that FedNow as a service is going to dramatically change the payment landscape in the U.S. The availability of instant payments to over 10,000 institutions, that is absolutely a game changer, and one of the reasons why we decided to build a new service for the first time in 4 years there. So the innovation for the future, we're the flexibility that service is going to offer, we're really excited about the opportunities going forward.
Nick, I think he's journey.
And so are we, no doubt about it. Now let's take a look at this before we get out of here. XRP Crypto says us here in short term, it broke the descending channel. However, to confirm this breakout, XRP has to close daily or 3-day candle above 48 cents, or we shall revisit the low end of the channel, which will be a retest for the breakout. This is also super bullish if it holds. Next move, closing above 52 or 58 cents, is the early signal that the bullish momentum is in play. Long term, he says nothing has changed. We're still going to Valhalla. And I tell you what, when we take a look at what he's showing us here, let's get into this. You can see the descending channel, right? But let's go over here to this where you can see 37 cents as a bottom and support here. We could go all the way back down to that. Maybe it's just, 43. We don't know, right? But I am prepared for this thing to take a dump. And let me just quickly share this as well, because I don't want to be too long. But I would not be surprised to see a favorable ruling in the SEC versus Ripple case for clarity of XRP and secondary market sales. But I would also not be surprised to not see things take off immediately in price. I wouldn't be surprised because I know that it's going to take people buying up the asset and putting it to work in commercial use and or locking it up so it's not available and can be leased out for commercial use to market participants. So that may take a little time. I would not be surprised to see some of this pullback as we see like XRP Crypto and others suggest in these charts before there's making a lag time or a lull before we actually see a real run on XRP price. Now, that's not financial advice. It's just my digital perspectives, and I'll catch all of you on the next one.